Hello everyone and welcome to Pyanodons Mods. This is Otaku Showboat. Today we are going to be talking about purple science, or production science packs as they are actually called. It is for all intents and purposes the vanilla purple science. Uh it's green technically, but for compared to vanilla it's purple science. Anyway, production science will be what we cover today. As per usual, don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to help make this series appear higher up in YouTube search results. You can do all the social stuff through the links in the description below this video. You can help support Pyanodon at patreon.com/Pyanodon and myself at patreon.com/OtakuShowboat. So, today is going to be a relatively short video because up to this point, you should now have everything that you need. It is simply a matter of doing logistics. The last tutorial, we talked about diamonds. There have been some adjustments to the speed of several of the recipes in the diamond chain, as well as some of the outputs of intermediaries, or intermediates, I should say. And there was supposed to be an adjustment, I think, to the mining speed, but the wrong value was changed. Yeah, Pyanodon changed the hardness value at the time on the volcanic pipes, and that isn't what the mining time is based off of. There's a specific value called mining time that gets adjusted, not hardness. Hardness plays a completely different role for resources. Hardness dictates the strength or power of the particular mining drill required to mine the resource. That's what the hardness value is used for. And it does not play a role in vanilla at all, but it sort of plays a role in some overhaul mods. Yeah, anyway. Like, any mod that gives you like increased mark levels of mining drills can have resources that have a hardness value that will require an increased mark level of a particular mining drill in order to actually be able to mine it. That's what the hardness value is for. So I think the intention was to increase the mining speed, get rid of that 400% on the mining time, but anyway, moving on from there. So, production science, or purple science. Of course, productivity. At this point in the game, you have level 1 productivity modules, you have level 1 speed modules, you have level 1 efficiency modules. You are, at this point, you have diamonds, you are ready to start producing purple. That's where we're at. You've gone through the process of getting 2 diamonds. If you have been following my guides thus far, you may already have special small parts. Though note, they are not required to have at this point in time anymore. They were until diamond mines were changed to no longer need special small parts. They now need advanced small parts. So if you've been following the tutorials thus far and you have set up special small parts, fantastic! Fantastic! You are ahead of the curve, as they say. So, at this point, production science, it's coated containers, control units, and nuclear samples. Just those 3 ingredients. For coated containers, you need lead containers and advanced coating. Lead containers is niobium iron alloy and lead plates. That's very simple. So just niobium iron alloy and lead plates. You should be able to make this right now just fine. The advanced coating is the reason why we needed diamonds. So you need niobium pipes, industrial diamonds, nylon, zinc acetate, and titanium plates. Now you already have nylon, and you already have zinc acetate from your Circuit 2 production chains. So you already have both of these, and chances are you've been using niobium pipes ever since you got your first supply of niobium. That should have been one of the first things that you did as soon as you got niobium, was start making niobium pipes. So this is now going to be a consumer, make sure I have one assembling machine here, of your niobium pipes to make some glorious advanced coating. So that is your coated containers. We talked about diamonds last time, and you should already have these other things here for that, and you should be able to make this quite easily. Our nuclear samples will require uranium ore. You do not have to do any ore processing here, you just have to mine uranium. Of course, mining uranium through the standard means includes having to spend some amount of sulfuric acid. So you'll have to spend some sulfuric acid to mine the uranium. This is a massive consumer of uranium ore to make the nuclear samples. Note how much nuclear sample you need. Without productivity, I think it is a 2 to 3 ratio there without productivity. With productivity, we're getting close to a ratio here of 1 to 2, but just keeping in mind, depending on how much science you want, you're going to need significant amounts of uranium ore here, even with some productivity modules. So just bear that in mind. And bear also in mind that you're going to be needing to do uranium ore processing later to get, I think it's the heavy fermion material. Heavy fermion uses 10 units of 70% uranium powder, and that is literally hundreds of units of uranium ore per unit of, or per 2 units, I should say, of your 70% uranium powder. It is an absolute enormous amount of uranium ore that will be required to make this uranium powder for heavy fermion, and heavy fermion is going to be very, very required going forward, not only to make a whole bunch of Mark III buildings and some Mark IV stuff, it's used in circuit 4s. And it's used in space science through both the junction here, as well as through this Bose-Einstein superfluid used for the quantum vortex storage system. So, yeah, these two items here directly are using heavy fermion material, which is using uranium. So, just keep all this in mind, that this is going to be a big demand directly on ore, but you're going to need even more going forward from here. Now, apart from the uranium, you need red science. So you actually need additional red science to make your purple science. And you need boric acid, industrial solvent, and aromatics. As a reminder, industrial solvent from our diamond mining is organic solvent, soda ash regeneration solution, as well as syngas. We talked about this a bit in the previous tutorial where we went over diamonds, because you need industrial solvent in the diamond/kimberlite processing chain. And of course, we've talked in detail thus far how to get aromatics. We have a video just devoted to boron processing, or borax processing, I should say, and we have a video talking about the red science as well. That leaves our glorious control units. Now, control units, I was tempted to have as its own, video, and we would talk a bit about, doing mega mines and things like that. And I definitely do want to talk a bit about making mega mines and making mega drill heads and all of that. But I think I'm going to hold off on that until after I talk about Circuit 3s, which will be the next tutorial. And after this next tutorial for the Circuit 3s, we will take a bit of a break as I consider what the following tutorials will actually be. So we're going to talk a bit about Megaminds, but anyway, because control units are a necessary component in Megaminds as well. And by Megaminds, I mean the mines that are used to tap into these things. Whoop, there we go. These mines. These are fantastic mines, and the complication with them is that they need mega drill heads, and mega drill heads will need helium to make. So, yeah, anyway. These control units are going to require infused Nexlet cartridges, fuel rod Mark 1s, Nenbit matrix, circuit 2s, and stainless steel. Chances are you already actually do have the fuel rod Mark 1s, so we're not really going to talk too much about that, but the fuel rod Mark 1, I would always suggest using the Niobium Coke and Nexlet recipe. This is the only recipe that exists for fuel rods. None other recipes exist. This is the only one that actually exists. Just so we're clear, this is the only recipe for fuel rods that exists. Being completely clear about that. There's only one recipe, and that recipe does not use any amount of uranium whatsoever for fuel rods. Moving on. The Nenbit matrix. We've sort of talked about Nenbit matrix already because it was involved in the making of our special small parts. Small parts. Bring this up. Nenbit matrix, right there. Involved in the making of special small parts. So if you haven't already made special small parts, you're going to be making them for, or you're going to be making the Nenbit matrix now for purple science. So really, from purple science, the only things that you're going to need from purple science are glass fiber and aerogel, and super steel. Those are the like 3 key things here that will be missing if you have not made these yet. And just as a point of reference, once you get circuit 3s, what's missing? Super steel and aerogel. Circuit 3s are going to introduce the glass fibers, so after that it's just adding aerogel and adding super steel, and super steel is going to involve vanadium. That is the only thing that you need to get the super steel is vanadium, vanadium oxide to be precise, and then aerogel is its own separate thing that you're going to need to make Mark III stuff anyway, specifically because you need special small parts for Mark III stuff, so yeah, just from there. Anyway. So yeah, this will require the niobium titanium alloy as well as the Nexlet matrix. Nexlet matrix, again, is plates, treated wood, boric acid, and vacuum. The infused Nexlet cartridges will require Nexlet as well as lithium peroxide. Lithium peroxide is basically just water and hydrogen peroxide added together, and there you go, lithium peroxide. Now, just again, as a reminder, hydrogen peroxide, anthraquinone, as well as nickel plates, and then the anthra is chromium, aromatics, and liquid nitrogen, which is also going to be gasoline, to get that liquid nitrogen. So there you have it, folks. That's actually it. That is all that you need. That is it. That is all. That is production science. If this seems like it's a bit like easier than what we've done thus far to get to Circuit 2s, that's because it's intended to be. Circuit 2s into blue science is intended to be the biggest jump in like complexity and work in the entire mod set. That is the one set of upgrades, if you want to refer to it as upgrades. The biggest jump in difficulty is Circuit 2s into blue science. So that is the hump to crossover, and then everything else, while maintaining a very high level of complexity, is not as high of a level of complexity compared to what you did for Circuit 2s. And bearing in mind that these things are all going to be consuming now, we're going to be starting to consume our Circuit 2s. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. We're going to be starting to consume our Circuit 2s now for our control units for our purple science. So now we have a science pack directly consuming Circuit 2s. So even though the additions to our base haven't been as many, it hasn't been as numerous of additions to our base of new things to get to purple science. We've really only added diamonds and kimberlite processing, just one processing chain, plus converting some of the stuff that we already have into other things, as well as started mining uranium. Like, we've started mining for diamonds and we've started mining uranium ore. That's the only new thing here that we've ultimately done, but we require a lot of scaling of what we already have. And that's where the complexity is, and the time is really going to be dedicated to going into the later phases of the game, is scaling all of the things on the back end, all of the things that you've done before, scaling that up so that you can continue to feed the hungry, hungry machine going forward as we get more and more and more complex and deeper and deeper and deeper down the chains of events here and production. Control units, as I've said, used for a few things, including for mega mines. You can make the mega mines as soon as you get control units, but you can't actually use them until you have mega drill heads, and the mega drill heads are a bit more complex to obtain. They are in Pyro down here. Mega drill heads are super alloy as well as helium, and helium is going to be needed for super alloy. And you need the diamonds, and you need boron carbide, and you need aluminium plates. Now, boron carbide is not difficult at all. It's I think it's just processing boron trioxide or whatever it's called, the one that you use for green science. Just that step of the boron processing that goes into green, yeah, that just processes directly into boron carbide. It's really simple. Aluminium plates, plain and simple. Diamonds, you'll have now. You'll have diamonds now. So super alloy with helium. You will want to have purple science before really setting up super alloy. That's why we haven't talked about super alloy yet. That's why we haven't talked about helium yet, is because we are going to be doing that. Basically, we can do that now that we now have production science. So our next tutorial is going to be Circuit 3s, because now that we have purple science, we can now pick up the techs of purple science. And the techs of purple science, just to overview some of the important techs here, cough cough, you've got effect transmission, which are our beautiful beacons, our beautiful, wonderful, crispy bacon. Exists now. We can now use bacon to our advantage. Also, there is regolite mining, which is technically going to be your best method of getting helium, if you are willing to mine for it and be based off of a non-renewable resource in the form of regolites. Regolites are non-renewable. You'll have to occasionally move your mines to other mining locations and all that other good stuff. If you have resolved yourself to do mining in your base in the traditional way, this is what you'll want to get the best output of your for helium. Also, you will get nanotechnology. Nanotechnology is quite important. This is where you will get Gen Labs, for example, as well as a better recipe. I think it's the biofilm that's strictly better, or the aramid. I've not really looked, but because I think that there's an issue somewhere. No, it's the Kevlar. It's the inorganic Kevlar recipe that you have that's not good. These are good recipes, uh, technically speaking. Because you spend molybdenum anyway when making aramid, the subdenier microfibers and the TBA are just fine. This is a straight up better output of aramid, but you'll now be able to make subdenier microfiber, which is aerogel, microfiber, ammonia, and acrolein. And microfiber is fiber and sodium hydroxide, so that's fine. And then acrolein, I think, unlocks before this, so I would have to look up what's involved with that. But yeah, so you get a lot of improvements to recipes. You get a lot of recipes that you will use later. Don't bother doing that petroleum recipe. This is what will unlock utility science for you going forward, as well as a lot of the things that you need for the utility science. But it's also going to unlock a lot of the things that you will need for the circuit for the Mark III buildings. So, and very importantly, this is what's going to unlock fine carbon dust for you out of coke. This is why you want to get up to purple science and pick up nanotech. It gives you fine carbon dust, and this will allow you to do particle acceleration for boron at this point. So you can actually start doing a particle acceleration for boron. You may have noticed that a lot of Nextlit is used in the making of purple science. You are going to be limited to your Nextlit processing level 2. Soon, at some point, the tech will change. In fact, maybe if I did a tech reset here, let's, do I even have the tech reset? Here, I don't think I do. There we go. Force reset of recipes. Force reset of recipes and techs, and go back down, because I know that this change is coming. I know that this change is in the works. If I can find you. It does not look like it has been pushed yet, but soon enough, Nextlit Processing 3 is going to no longer require mining machines 4. It will require, I think, the mining machines 3, and then the mining machines 4 will be a requirement for Nextlit Processing 4. So soon enough, you'll be able to do the actual even further processing of Nextlit and get the Nextlit mine access at Purple Science, so you can get a bit more output for your Nextlit as well. That is a very important thing if you want to scale up your Purple Science in particular. You will also gain access to the fusion energy technologies, which you will need going forward to pick up Fusion Energy Mark III to unlock silver foam, because you need silver foam to make biopolymer. Biopolymer is a very key ingredient required for the vast majority of Mark III buildings. You also must pick up Automation 3 in order to get Assembling Machine 3s, because Assembling Machine 3s are an ingredient in Gen Labs. And Kamalt enclosures. So they will be required for those. Oh, and you get access to the bioreactor at Nanotech. So all of these things are in play now. And you're going to want Kamalt enclosures with Gen Labs, and I think bioreactors, for the helium processing, for real helium processing going forward. So keeping all of that in mind, and you're going to get access to the level 2 modules that you will be able to make as soon as you get to Circuit 3s. And you'll be able to unlock the level 3 modules, but you're not going to be able to make those now until you have intelligent units. So all of these beautiful, glorious things, and eventually there will be modifications made to the actual mod suite itself that will change a number of the quality of life improvements that are otherwise locked behind utility science that don't take productivity. Those will eventually become productivity once a balance pass is made. So eventually expect that you'll be able to pick up at least another level of worker robot speed, for example. You can't really do that right now, but eventually you will be able to. I have modded my game so that things like the RCU unlock at purple, things like worker robot speed unlocks at purple. That is something I have done for my version of the game, and it is something that will eventually be coming in some form or other, hopefully a bit more balanced, to the actual full mod suite, but we shall see how long that takes. So, with that, we have covered our purple science. As I had said, I'll do a clear. As I have said, our next tutorial is going to be that for Circuit 3 production and the things you will need for that, because we can now do the things for Circuit 3s. And perhaps most importantly here, the one thing that I did not mention yet of the techs is you can now pick up gold processing so that you can now do gold processing off of chromium. This is a split from chromium from the chromite solution step. You will add hydrogen peroxide to chromite solution and just start going down the chain from there until you get to your gold. You can refer to my chromium processing tutorial video for the gold processing split there when you are at production science, and this is going to ideally be your primary source of gold plates going forward, though as usual note that you can particle accelerate copper plates to silver plates to gold plates and gold plates into uranium ore. Do bear that in mind. If you are interested in doing particle acceleration, you can actually particle accelerate for your uranium ore / your gold / even your silver from copper. But it's 4 steps long because you have to do from copper, or 3 steps long, excuse me, from copper to gold to uranium. So this will take plates, and every single one of these consumes proton donors, which are also not cheap. But it is almost a 1-to-1. Almost a 1-to-1. It's 1-to-1 gold to silver, and then a little over 2-to-1, or 1-to-2 from the gold into uranium, but you'll want some gold anyway. So if you're going the route of doing particle acceleration, you may as well do this too, if you really want to use that for uranium. And that is, by the way, that is how you get your infinite supply of uranium. That is how you get uranium without mining it. That is the only way to get uranium without mining it, is to do particle acceleration from gold. Particle acceleration from gold. That is the only way at the moment of getting infinite supplies of uranium wherever you want to set that up. So, with that, again, thank you all for watching. This has been Otaku Showboat. If you have enjoyed today's video, please be sure to comment, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to help make this series appear higher up in search results. You can do all the social stuff through the links in the description below this video. As per usual, The mods are always subject to change. You can help support Pyanodons mods development at patreon.com/Pyanodon and myself at patreon.com/Otaku Showboat. And I will, of course, see you all on the next tutorial. Excuse me, I will see you all in the next tutorial where we will talk about Circuit 3s. I hope to see you all then.